What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Second Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathon.
I'm your other host, Elijah Venencia. Man, it's been a fucking minute since we recorded. You
Mm-hmm.
guys have obviously been getting episodes, but gosh, I was fucking looking through. Like, I had so much. We were both doing the notes, and I was like, God, we have like so much shit to look through, so many like releases to go back on. We still have
Mm-hmm.
stuff from like September, July, like the middle of the last week of July. So, yeah, this is stressful. I mean, going through those notes and everything,
Yeah.
but we're back for a minute here, for a brief minute. Then we got two episodes.
Not
So
even.
no, yeah, we're gonna have a coffee here and talk, and then it's back to Jonathan's going to No Label Academy. Surprise, surprise, and I'll be on my cruise, which we had a mix up on that as well. Jonathan had the incorrect date. I don't think I said the correct date. I think it's more on me, of course. So, but yeah, it's
Well,
been
we can go back. It's on the record. It's on the podcast. We were talking about Lala, and I was like, "Are you coming with me? Like, are we going to see Kendrick?" And you were
uh-huh.
like, "Oh, I'm going on a cruise." And so I was like, "Oh, okay, you're on a cruise the days Lala is." And I was like, "All right,
Yeah,
whatever." But that wasn't the case. There was just miscommunication. Like it was not the
yeah.
case.
I'm stacking bread
Yeah,
basically.
understandable, very respectable there, of course. But I thought, I was on vacation 2 weeks, 2 Sundays or whatever, two recordings. And so then I had Lala the next day and I was like, oh, you're going to be gone. So that's three. So we did
Yeah.
a bunch of episodes in the stash. And then I was like, okay, whatever. We'll just switch it up, Audible. We'll just record a new episode and then we'll have that one in the stash for a week we don't record. But then I was getting back late from Lala anyway. So I was like, whatever, we're just going to drop that one. So last week's episode almost didn't come out last week, but whatever. You guys
It's all
got it.
right.
So hopefully you
We're
guys
here
enjoyed
now.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here now. We'll get a
Yeah.
couple more in the stash for these upcoming weeks. And I promise we're not going to miss a week here. We'll get into what you can expect the next couple weeks here at the end of the episode, or yeah, maybe not the end of the episode, just
It's gonna be some
as I
big
get
episodes
talking.
though. Some
They're
bangers.
good
So
ones though. Some absolute bangers in store. Some ones we've been hyping up for a minute. So very excited to get into those. But of course, excited to get into today's episode because this one's been in the making for a couple weeks now, the Utopia review. I guess before that, let's wrap it up here with a little bit of the intro. We haven't talked about Lala. Like I said, I was at Lala. I thought you were going to come there with me, see the goat, cornrow Kenny, Kung Fu Kenny, K
uh,
Dot, okay, Llama. Unfortunately, that was not the case, but I got to see Kendrick for the first time and he killed it, put on a great show. It just felt like there was way more people there at Lala this year than normal. I don't know. The crowd feels younger and younger every year. I'm just like, wow, I'm really, really grown out here
old
going to
head. Yeah.
Lala. Yeah, but whatever. I feel like there was definitely some old heads in the building for K Dot. So if I was to see anybody, seeing Kendrick makes sense. Like if I was trying to go see like Lil Yachty, I'd probably be like,
Yeah.
oh, get me out of here. But no, Kendrick had a great show. Um, I guess that is the segue. It was going to be the end of the episode. We'll segue into it. The next two episodes you guys can expect from us are top 10 concerts we've seen in our lives. We've been to quite a few. Kendrick for me was number 100.
Yeah.
So
That's
very
some.
clickbait potential there with that title. I've been to 100 concerts here in my top 10. Hopefully that pops off. But yeah, we'll be talking about Kendrick next week, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. So I'll save some of my thoughts, but shout out to Kendrick.
No. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be crazy because I mean, between the two of us, you have 100, I have 63, 163 concerts. Like that is narrowing those down to 10 is gonna be nuts. And then I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I obviously we talk about it like, I mean, not, we don't ever get to have a dedicated like talk for it for,
Mm-hmm.
just the moments we've had. So
Mm-hmm.
I am super, super excited to get into it. It's going to go crazy. So,
Yeah, I mean, not to get too much away, obviously, like seeing, big artists, your favorite artists like that,
mhm.
you know, gets them a top spot typically. But like some of these little moments that you just can't predict, like that's what's going to get like top
Yeah.
spots. So it's going to be real exciting. My episode will be next week, and then Elijah's will be the following week. Still not exactly sure what we'll have the week after that, but all those going to be pre-recorded as well. So kind of back to the vacation vibes here. No
Yeah.
real news, no real releases on time. But they're going to be banger episodes. Like the
Yeah.
concert
Like,
episodes, I've been waiting on those for forever. My 100th one felt like the right time to do this.
yeah.
So excited to get into that, but that's for next week. Let's get to our songs of the week real quick here before we get into the Utopia review. What songs have you been bumping the past couple weeks here?
So I mean, my first one here, it was Survivor's Guilt by Saba featuring G Herbo. This just really like, I wasn't really like vibing with it too much initially. Obviously, a few good things was in my rotation crazy last
Mhm.
year. And when Brennan had came home during like it was late fall or possibly winter almost, I want to say, me, you, and him, we just were cruising, just kicking it, and Brennan played this, and it just fucking hit right then. And I mean, it's just
Mhm.
always been in rotation since. So, and then for my next track here, wait, do we trade off or fucking?
We trade off. It's been too
Okay,
long.
I know. No, I'm like seriously, I was like debating that in my head here.
I'll get my first one here. This is a song that dropped since we've been gone. I've been just bumping it like crazy. Solo Step and Creep Boy by Lil Yachty. I love this song. It's like a very just simple, easy to listen to song, but it's so good. I think it came from the AMP freestyle. I think. I don't know. I haven't seen the full video, but for some reason, I think that maybe that's just absolute cap. I know he was in that though, so I think that's where I'm getting that from. But yeah, good song.
For my next one here, this one is just this really like ages me. So this I was in fourth grade. I remember specifically in fourth grade when I had first heard this song, and this is like what got me into rap. Like ever since then, I was Team Drake. I have my little 2 Chainz phase. We got No Lie,
Mm.
and I just fuck that video. Like I could just watch without actually watching the video. I just can name it moment for moment almost.
Oh
Like
yeah.
back then, that was before Apple Music, Spotify. Pandora was still, I mean, fairly small at the time, and
Hmm.
it was all YouTube. So I mean, if you had those Vivo YouTube videos, they went crazy. So,
Yeah.
and then I mean, from that just really got like I was a big 2 Chainz guy initially, like so that really got me into him. Birthday song, I'm different, tracks like that, and then obviously the boy Drake is one of my goats still. So
Great track. Definitely. I'm guessing the first song I heard from Two Chains. I can't remember another one I heard before that, but I was like, wow, Two Chains is really him. Like that was my freshman year of high school. I was bumping Two Chains like crazy. So shout out to Chains there. My next song of the week, another song I saw at Lollapalooza. I got Danielle, Smile on My Face by Fred again. I saw Fred again. He was right before Kendrick, and there was like these two just super frat guys in front of me, and they were
no.
yeah, exactly. They were just the most stereotypical frat boys ever. They literally
Insane.
came just to see Fred again. Like they weren't from Illinois or like I think they're from like Kentucky or something. They said they got weekend passes just to see Fred again. I was like,
Sheesh.
I think you could see him like other places, but I don't know. I guess I don't really like follow him, obviously. But we just kind of started talking like all the people like around us, and they were like talking about, oh, they're so excited for Fred again. Whatever, we came here just for Fred. I'm like, cool, yeah, whatever. I wasn't really saying much. I was like, yeah, I'm here for Kendrick, like whatever.
Wow.
Like, you're here for Kendrick already? And I was like, yeah, like I'm trying to get a good spot. And they're like, oh, you're gonna have like a really good spot. And I was like, yeah, like I've done this
Mhm.
before. Like I know what I'm doing. I'm a
Yeah,
vet. So
this ain't my first rodeo. I've been to
yeah,
100 concerts actually.
yeah. So they were like, do you know who Fred is? And I'm like, yeah, like I know of him. Like I know he did the thing with Skrillex, Forte, But I was like, I don't really know much about him, but they're like, oh, this it's gonna be like so. It's his
It's gonna be
music's
so
just
sick,
different.
bro.
It's like emotional. Like you're just gonna feel it. I'm like, all right, like whatever. I really didn't know what his vibe was at all, and so he played some songs. He came out and they were like interesting. Like they were like vocal samples they were kind of building off of, and I was like, okay, like I couldn't never heard the songs before, so I was like, are these like songs he's building on the spot, like he's chopping up there? I was like, that'd be like crazy. I was like, I don't know, but then people started like singing along to these like
Um,
samples, and I was like, okay, so they're like known. I was like, or the videos that he's sampling are known, one of the two. And then I was like, okay, these are just release songs. I learned later. I really had no idea what he was doing up there. It was a pretty good show, but just it's not my style. However, when he played Danielle, I didn't know the name of it obviously on the spot, but he like had the screens going and they were showing like the vocals, and it was 070 Shake in that song. And I was like,
oh yeah.
okay, now I can feel at home here. Like he
Uh-huh.
played his remix of Chanel by Frank Ocean too, and those were the only two songs where I was like, okay, like I feel like I belong right now.
You heard that, you immediately had a backwards Nike hat appear with the fucking full send shirt
Oh
and
yeah,
some. Yeah, I mean, you immediately went frat with that. So
yeah. I was
it
polo, khakis, Sperry's. I was just really in my
uh,
bag.
definitely. I mean, it's cool. it's really cool to have those experiences though at concerts. So I mean, we'll get into a little bit of that next week. So
Hmm.
for my last one here, and this one, I told Jonathan we went to Lafayette today with the boy Brennan. Uh, I told him I'm gonna find my third track for this week. On this drive, it was like not the way there, nothing really hit like I wanted to. And then immediately after I put the full like songs on shuffle, and RGF Island hit, and my fucking god, like this is just always just going to be such a classic to me. I remember last year at Rolling Loud, this is kind of like what brought me back into it. It was just one of the tracks the DJ was bumping like at a few of the sets while
Mm.
before the artist came out. And yeah, I mean, Fetty Guap had a fucking grip on everyone in 2015, and I mean, songs like this are a reason why. So
Essential. That's a very essential. The 2015 track right there. When you played it earlier, I was like, okay, this still goes. All these years later, it goes.
yeah,
So, my last track since I've been gone, since we haven't been recording, I've been to Denver, Colorado, and for that reason, I got to show some love to Colorado by Coda the Friend. I think he's canceled. I don't think we're really rocking with Coda the Friend, but at one point, I was definitely rocking with this song heavy. Um, so yeah, go give that one a listen. That's one of my staples in my playlist to this day.
W there. I mean, yeah, like obviously it's been a fucking minute since we did those. Like I was confused. I was
Yeah.
confusing myself. Um, but I mean, to the main course here, why everybody is hopefully here. We
Mm.
got our Utopia thoughts. This has been so fucking hard to hold in. Like I've wanted to talk about so much of this shit with you. Like it's something that I've talked about with I think everybody else that I ever talk about music with. So I mean, we've kept it very, very brief. Like
And we've been
we're
together multiple times. Like we've listened to these songs together,
we
and we're just like
yeah,
straight face. We are not giving anything away. We're giving. We talked about a couple of songs, I guess, but like very, very briefly. Like we have really been saving it for the pod. It's been out for, is it 2 or 3
two
weeks
weeks,
now?
almost
2 weeks
3 weeks
now.
at this point. So yeah,
Yeah. So very excited to get into this though. I don't even know where to begin.
let's go to Utopia night. So I had put bet on a baseball game, whatever. Won my bet. It was like 10-20 ish. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna make it. So I'm sitting there like watching Family Guy on Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, or whatever, and I slump. I couldn't. I hit the
Mm.
academics. Fucking just fell asleep. And then I wake up. I'm laying on the couch while this is all happening, and I go to my bedroom and I play Hyena, the first track on the song, and I didn't even make it 30 seconds into that, and I just fucking fell asleep. So I had to listen to it the next morning. What was your night like? Give us a little.
Yeah. So like I said, I just got back from Denver, over a week ago at this point, but recently went to Denver, and we left for Denver on Thursday, and we stopped in a little town called Hayes, Kansas, stayed the night there at a hotel. So I was in Hayes, Kansas at a Holiday Inn listening to Utopia for the first time. Never, that's like a very random first listen experience. Like, never listened to a real album that I actually care about, like anywhere really besides like my house or, my car or whatever.
Yeah,
So that was really random. But yeah, laying in a hotel, pull out couch bed, listen to Utopia. Um, and I definitely also fell asleep like at the very end. I made it to one of the last two
no
tracks. I don't
further
remember.
notice, or yeah.
Yeah, I got to one of the last two at least. Actually, it might have been K-pop where I fell asleep, but
Okay,
I'd heard that
understand.
one before, so I like don't remember if like I slept through that one or not. But yeah, woke up the next day and then we had 5 more hours to Denver, so got to listen to it like 2 more times right away. So I'll just say I love this album so far. I think it's very good. Travis Scott just continues to build that catalog. It's such a strong catalog. Like in today's game,
It is.
he has not missed at all in terms of albums. Like it's really impressive because it's kind of tough to do that these days, especially like how quick the internet can turn on people. Like Travis Scott could have got canceled, but he came back with the good music. It seems like that's all in the past now. So yeah, crazy
It's
stuff.
it's like my thought. I mean, we both love the album, of course. We both knew that coming in, but I mean, like my thoughts on it, it's exactly what Travis Scott needed to do. He needed something different. I felt like, and not that anything was getting stale. I feel like he's pretty different on each of his albums, or gives us a different sound. But this is like, I was listening to this, I was like, not jaw drop, but like this is what fucking Travis needed to do. He couldn't have put up, the same thing Astroworld would have done. People would have said he's a little baby. He does the same song every time. So,
Mhm.
and it's just, it's just, Travis's Yeezus album almost like, it's just very different in sense of like what beats he was bringing in or what flow he had. So, um, yeah, it's just been, very, very good, very well received by the public, of course, as well. It's still not Astro level for me, but it could always take that spot. It's,
Mhm.
I feel like this has just a lot of potential to grow as well and influence. What we get in terms of albums for the next few years. So,
For sure. I think it's pretty obvious now. Everybody's talked about, oh, it's the Yeezus of
mhm.
Travis's discography. It's so Yeezus influence. You got the I Am a God uh early working beat that he uses on Modern Jam, and just so many other elements of Yeezus that are obvious here. And yeah, obviously Yeezus kind of like influenced a generation. I think that's like a reason people have
Mhm.
Yeezus so high in like their
Mhm.
Kanye rankings or whatever. They're like, oh, Yeezus is like one of the ones, just because of how much impact it had on the sound. Like it was just so different at the time. Like I remember Yeezus coming out and people, like my friends, being like,
Uh,
because it came out on that stacked day with Mac
yeah,
Miller and J. Cole, and they're like, oh yeah, listen to the J. Cole one first. Like Kanye,
it's
whatever. Like this one's weird, like whatever. And I don't think Utopia is nearly like as weird at the
that's
time.
so. I'll go with this is. I don't view it as like. There are similar sounds and everything, like you said, of course. I view it more as Kanye is coming off his best album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, goes into Yeezus, something completely different sounding than what he had done before. Travis
That's
is coming
fair.
off his best album, arguably, with Astro World. He's going something just a completely different direction. That's how I view it in comparison to Yeezus. Obviously, it has the elements there, but what doesn't nowadays?
Uh-huh. No, I definitely viewed it as like it is just a Yeezus. Like it's
Mhm.
not in like the term of where they're at in the career. It is just like it sounds like Yeezus.
Mhm.
And obviously Travis was very involved in the production of Yeezus, so like that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But he just really hadn't put anything out like on his own that sounded like that. So it was kind of surprising that he went that direction here.
Yeah, it's like I like that there's different ways to view that. Use as comparison, of course, but I feel like we could go all day. We go individualized tracks and everything, but let's make this little more brief, a little bit more. I mean something a little bit more. So let's go with our top tracks. I'll have you kick it off. We'll do a few tracks each. So
Okay. I can narrow it to four, I think, that I'm
yeah,
like,
that's what 4 or 5. I felt like is a half. I was 3 to 5.
okay,
It's actually a happy number. So I was like four. This.
okay. I think for sure this is one we're both gonna have. So let's just start with this. My Eyes. I mean, we gotta talk about how special of a track My Eyes
God
is.
damn. God, this is like one like the I and I've never used this expression before. The first few times, that back half talking about the Astro World tragedy and everything, I was getting goosebumps. Like it was the
You,
first few listens.
would I dare say you get those goosebumps every time?
Yeah, obviously, no pun intended there, but I was genuinely getting goosebumps like that. It was just so meaningful and everything. It's something that I don't feel like was truly addressed yet. Or
Mhm.
since then, since his apology and everything, and man, that back half, that's 902 level esque there. Like this is, early signs indicate that it's going to be one of the top Travis tracks for me.
100%. I agree. I lost it the first time I heard Sampha. I was like, oh
Mhm.
my God. Like anytime I hear him, I just smile on my face. Like that's one of my guys, like one of my all-time favorites. So anytime I hear him on a feature, I'm just instantly, okay, this is gonna be like my favorite song. And this is no exception. But I will say, like the first half, I think people might be like, oh, it's a little bit boring, it's a little slow,
Mhm.
whatever. But I think it's really nice, honestly. And then it's just such a change of pace to get that second half. And that is just Travis rapping like he rarely ever does.
Yeah.
Like Travis is always to come through with just great beats, melodic tracks, catchy, but it's rare that he comes through like rapping that hard. Like Travis is
Mhm.
rapping his ass off. He rarely does that. The only other times I can really think he does like on the prayer off Days Before Rodeo, and a couple other times. Like he's definitely not a bad rapper, obviously, like, but he doesn't go that hard. Like it's rare he goes that
And
hard. And just like with that much like meaning and substance behind what he's saying, it's like we don't see the side tracks very much. Like normally just turn up, bangers, but no, this is like introspective, talking about so much, and it's just great. Like to me, this is the best track.
Yeah, like no, definitely the best track. And you took the words out of my mouth there. It's gonna get cut, but we had a little moment there where us also we were both speaking at the same time, and yeah, there's just so much meaning to that. And then he still brings in that element of Travis. I stay on the stage, or what's he say? Something about the bring on the rage and everything. Like it's still Travis at the end of the day, and it's just, gosh, it's one like literally like this is gonna be one of my favorite Travis Scott songs ever.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. I've seen people, on TikTok updating their Travis Scott favorite songs, top 10, rankings, and my eyes is on like all of them now. So I think it's gonna be one of those ones. Like I feel like 90210 is very universally like a top Travis song. Like you
Yeah.
can't really argue that. Like it's not even like a basic take. Like it's just like the correct take at this point. And I think My Eyes is like gonna be up there with that. So yeah, he definitely did his thing on this one. Let's get into your next song here though. What's some of your others that you're really feeling?
Telekinesis, Future, I mean,
Mm,
SZA there as well. Like that's just like a kind of somewhat of an unexpected like trio there, I guess. I could see both of them on the album, but I figured it'd be separately.
mm-hmm,
And I mean, she like just closing to that song. I mean, she just does her thing. I mean, that's when we banged earlier. Obviously, Future and Travis have such great chemistry. Travis and SZA have such great chemistry, so it was cool to see them all together. Obviously, hidden features and everything. So once I heard SZA, I was like, "Wow, this it's a
oh
beautiful,
yeah.
yeah." So that definitely be my next one there.
My next one, this is the track we've had for the longest. Not officially, but we've had it for the longest.
Um,
Lost Forever. I was just crossing my fingers. West Side Gun was still going to be on there. If you would have told me, 5 years ago, hey, we're getting a West Side Gun feature on a Travis Scott album, I'd be like, no way. Like, I cannot believe that. But then I heard that little snippet from that fashion show, and I was like, this is the best song I've ever heard. Like, I
yeah,
loved Lost Forever. And, it came sounding a little bit different on Utopia. They had the switch up with the beat that West Side Gun was rapping over in the beat switch. But I think they made a good decision there. I think it sounds really good. Got the Alchemist doing his thing. He's always going to come through with a good production, especially when he's, working with the Griselda boys. So, yeah, he really did his thing on that. West Side Gun killed it. I think we'll have to get into like our favorite features in a
uh,
little bit. We're talking songs right now, but West Side Gun definitely up there for me on my favorite features on Utopia.
definitely. And I mean, that's good. That's one of my tracks as well. We got another common one there. So I'll choose another one though. God's Country, obviously, that's one's been, just circulating, whether, it's Kanye or whatever at first, and then Travis was on it, and now it's just Travis's song. I'm just glad to have it on streaming. I am not a big like unreleased song guy, so I won't
Mm-hmm.
do that. So I mean, like Lost Forever, I've heard it and everything, obviously, but I'm glad to have it, finished and everything. Same thing with God's Country here. So
Mm-hmm. Exactly same way for me. I'm not really a guy listening to leaks. But Lost Forever was just, I'd see on Twitter, like circulate all the
yeah,
time, Instagram videos. I was like, okay, need this one. Um, but yeah, I do think it's funny. I don't have God's Country on one of my picks here, but it's close. I like it a lot. But it is just funny that, we talk about all this like, oh, it feels so Yeezus influenced, feels so Kanye influenced, which it is definitely. But it's just crazy that after all that, we don't get the Kanye feature.
yeah.
And that's tough. Obviously, I would have loved to have Kanye on God's Country there at the least, if not, another song as well. But we'll get into them and their relationship a little bit later
Yeah.
with the news. But things are looking good for those two, it seems like. Um, I got two more here. My next one I'll talk about though. I gotta go Modern Jam. Tizo touchdown, probably the most unexpected feature on this album, I would say. And he did his thing. I think almost Tizo alone is the reason it's up here
Yeah.
so high. But I love Modern Jam.
No, that one's, it's an interesting one. It kind of doesn't feel out of place, I guess, but it's just super different. But I like,
Mm-hmm.
what he did with that. That's one I feel like is just in a club, just like going crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I really enjoyed it though. I mean, I feel like, it's very different from, everything else. And people I felt were a little skeptical about it at first, but I feel like it's
Hmm.
growing on a lot already.
Hmm.
So, and it's just going to continue to do that. So,
For
W
sure.
there. For my last one, obviously we got to go with, the boy Drake on Meltdown. Sheesh. I mean, just another great feature. You played this at the pump the other night, and I went to play a slot. We were just vibing in there, and I just I ran up, a good amount of money, and yeah, so we were just chilling in there, just fucking vibing to Meltdown, and that's a moment I'm not gonna ever forget. So
No, it was definitely tea time that night. If it was going crazy. I love Meltdown. Drake, great feature on that. But it's not my last song. My last song I got is Schizo. I love Schizo. I think
yeah,
that's just such interesting flows, beats, like great song. Um, Great to have Thug on there too. So yeah, I love Schizo.
I
I
love
feel like
that.
it's not the one I'm going to the most right now. I feel like I'm definitely going to My Eyes. Like if I'm picking a song off of Utopia, like just one. But every time I like listen throughout the album, Schizo is like one that
Mhm.
always stands out.
I was pulling JJ numbers. I had 30 plays on my eyes last week, so
That's
obviously,
different.
like I said, I have not. That one has been just in constant play. Almost every time I get into the car, it's the first song I play. So
hmm I went back and checked. I think mine was only like 12, but 12, for a
that's
week, like
still,
that's still
yeah.
twice a day almost. So yeah, I'm definitely bumping my eyes a lot. Let's talk about these features though. Anybody we have not talked about yet that you would say like, oh yeah, that's like my top three features.
Cardi, that is just, it was such a different vibe. And then to hear that he's not even the one fucking saying fiend the whole time, just,
Yeah.
and that's another, we briefly talked about it. I said 2 seconds into this song, I knew it was a vamp show here. I knew it was Cardi.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and just for, I mean, something completely different, and maybe we're gonna get something completely different with this next album he has. So, but I enjoyed the feature. It was different, obviously, but
Yeah. We're so used to the baby voice Cardi,
uh-huh.
vamp Cardi. I think we get a little bit of vamp energy on that beat, but like we're getting a whole different delivery out of Cardi that we have not really heard. So that was wild. I still like don't believe that it's Travis saying
That's,
fiend.
I was literally thinking that today. Like,
Like
have we fact
I don't
checked
know.
that?
We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, the streets are saying it is Travis Scott saying fiend. And until he says it is or it isn't for sure, I guess we're saying it is. But in my head, it's not. It is Playboy Cardi. Only Playboy Cardi could say fiend that many times. So
Yeah.
I'm sticking with that.
21 Savage did his thing on Topia Twins till further notice as well. Rob 49, that was a good one to have on there, and I thought he did his thing. So I think that's about all the features on the album. Who are we missing?
Yeah, we talked about Beyonce. We haven't talked about who else? We talked about Beyonce a little bit. We haven't talked about Young Lean. Young Lean, that was interesting. I didn't know we'd be getting him on this project. A little bit more of like an interlude type track, but I actually like Parasail. I think that one's get some hate, but I'm rock with Parasail. Dave Chappelle, random as well.
Yeah, no,
I didn't even
I
know that was him, like without the features listed. But then, like
mm,
when you hear, it, you're like, okay, obviously that's
yeah,
Dave Chappelle. But yeah, I kind of did not realize that at first. But overall, yeah, this is a very good project. Based on our reactions here, I think we didn't talk about Kid Cudi either, I guess.
yeah.
But
I'm not
I'm sure
talking
that was
about
intentional
that.
by you. Yeah.
And that was just a bad track, anyways, or not a very. I feel like, but
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think it's definitely a good project. And based on, what you were saying, I think we'll be talking about that in December here.
we are
So
100% talking about it in December. It's just depending on where. So
yeah, so definitely stay tuned. Come back in December for those albums of the year. And I think you'll be hearing more about Utopia then. But yeah, we're definitely loving this one so far. I want to hear what you guys think, though. Let us know in the comments. Hit the DMs on Instagram. We'll put out a story this week sometime, asking for what your favorite song is, and we'll react to some of yours in the next episode. But I think this is a project where there's definitely gonna be a lot of different favorites. So excited to see what you guys are feeling about that. Let's talk about some of these other releases. It's been a while since we've talked about the releases, so we have a couple weeks here. We're not going to talk about every one, but just to get back up to speed here, the albums that we've had since we've been gone: Ice Spice, Nas, Travis Scott, obviously, Post
yeah,
Malone,
I threw that in there.
Trippy Red, No Name, Paris, Texas, Babyface Ray. A lot of good ones there. And then we got singles from Lupe Fiasco, Ken Carson, Denzel Curry, ASAP Rocky, Offset and Cardi B, Drake and Central C, Lil Yachty, Corday, Yeet, America's Sweetheart, Olivia Rodrigo. Yeah, we're
My
definitely
We
blessed
are.
these past couple weeks.
No, it's picking up. I mean, at the correct time and everything. Ice Spice, top 50 New York rapper ever. So
A shot to Complex, yeah.
yeah, she keeps doing her thing. Like she keeps, I don't know, like she's doing it correctly. Is all I need to say on there.
Hmm.
Um, Post Malone had a pretty solid album. Posty's one that's always gonna have a special place in my heart, so I had to give it a listen. Nas and Hit Boy, I mean, it's something I listen to, but I mean, not something I'm ever really vibed with too much. But I'm sure one day I'll have my Nas face.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I've kind of been lacking. Like, I've really been listening to Utopia a lot. I've been listening to a lot of different random stuff, but so in terms of these albums, I've been lacking pretty bad. I've been meaning to give Post Malone a listen. I really don't listen to him too much like that, but out of respect, I do want to give him a listen, just because I know you're rocking with him. So we can talk about it. But Paris, Texas, heard a lot of good things. Heard a couple tracks, very good so far. Um, and I got to listen to this No Name album. It's been a minute since we got something from her, and she to me is like, arguably one of the best out. Like her pen game is crazy. She was like literally doing poetry. Like she's just
Yeah.
different. So shout out to No Name always. And I got to give a special shout out now. Moving on to the singles. ASAP Rocky, Rowdy.
Ooh,
Ooh, I
it's
mean,
I'm seeing it on ESPN, all the commercials and shit. The little, yeah, I love this. I mean, it's been fucking. We're supposed to have this before like around the Super Bowl, so um, I'm super excited for ASAP Rocky just based off what we got here. So
mhm. So good. I've been bumping that one like crazy. I feel like that's one I'm always playing. Anytime I go for a run or do whatever, I'm bumping ASAP Rocky right now, which is great to have new music from him. But yeah, obviously showed some love to the Lil Yachty one earlier, and the Corday one. Corday, have you given that one a listen yet? That one's different. I
I
like
have
that.
not, I've had, Utopia banging fucking all the time. So I'm slacking a little bit too. Obviously, it doesn't help. We're not talking about this every week, but we're gonna get back.
Hmm.
We'll be back eventually. Um,
Yeah,
just crazy how like spread out these time, like just perfectly spread out our vacations are like, and it's not a good thing for the podcast, I will say.
it is not, but I think the quality in the regular segments that'll be nice. But obviously the releases that's tough. So I think that's impacting our personal listenings,
Yeah.
like you said. So that's tough. All right, let's move on to some more news here. I know you guys are probably sick of a little more Utopia talk though. Uh, we got the first week sales numbers. Obviously that's not the biggest takeaway to gauge how good an album
Yeah.
is, but Utopia did some numbers here. We talked before it dropped about our little predictions about how we thought it was going to go. We were thinking 300 to 400. Kind of blew that out of the water with 485,000.
Yeah.
Crazy first week for Utopia.
Yeah, I mean, I've contributed to this obviously streams, and then I've bought 3 of the physical copies of the vinyls. So we're gonna have a giveaway. I mean, just a sorry from us for the fucking lack of
Yeah.
like news and shit we've been doing. So I'm gonna give one of those away. I'm not sure which one yet. I want to get them all in hand and see how they look. So, but one of you guys will be getting a Utopia vinyl soon. So I mean, crazy numbers though. Nearly 500,000. I mean, that's unheard of unless your name is Drake in rap.
And Travis Scott, damn near on that Drake level. So, and not really surprising, but still very impressive, obviously. I'm going to be honest here. We got a steal on the vinyls. That's part of the reason you guys are
I'm
getting
not
one.
paying. Yeah, I'm not paying $50 a piece for these. So
Uh, but if you guys haven't seen, Travis Scott had his Circus Maximus concert in Rome, but part of that was if you bought that, you were able to get a vinyl for $5. Then all of a sudden, all these codes just kept
yeah,
surfacing that you could get a vinyl for $5 and free shipping. So I bought a vinyl. I was like, why not? I have a record player, but I was like, for $5, like you can't say
yeah.
no to
So
that.
initially, I got the main cover at first, but then I was regretting. I was like, I love that splatter cover. That kind of I don't even know. And then the upside down head cover as well. So, I mean, spoiler alert, you're getting one of the upside down head or the splatter. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm going to kind of, picture them, my next ones on my wall and go from there. So,
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was dope. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned to Twitter, whatever. And I'm sure you'll be able to find the code here in the next couple of days because they just keep popping up. I don't even know how they're letting this slide, but unless they're like doing it on purpose, it's in my
no,
head.
it's
I'm like,
got to be.
is this
Yeah.
just like they're just trying to run the numbers up? Like it's definitely possible. But yeah, very cool. Either way, let's talk a little bit about this Circus Maximus concert. I mean, that was crazy in Rome. huge turnout, and he brings out Kanye West as a surprise guest. I mean, a very full circle moment of after the whole soundscape of Utopia, and it was just great to see them on a stage together again.
Yeah, big W there. I mean, just it's Kanye. It's Kanye and Travis as well. So it was great to see Kanye. That had me so fucking hype watching that. Kanye,
Yeah,
we miss you, man. I know you're listening. Give us some
yeah.
music. Give us something.
Crazy. And then I mean another very huge sales number here to talk about. Post Malone, 110,000. I mean, obviously it's no 485,000, but 110,000 in 2023, very impressive still.
And Post Malone album sales, he's got the popularity, like backing him and everything. And he's gonna have like one mega hit each time. Like it's still just such a flex to me having the Diamond album by Post
Yeah.
Malone. Like that's insane. So
Oh yeah.
big numbers there, big W as well. I really enjoyed that album. So
Definitely crazy. And then, it seems like we're getting that Travis Scott tour to close the
mhm.
Circus Maximus here. It seems like we're getting that Circus Maximus tour. And it kind of seemed like he hinted at him and Kanye doing a tour together.
I would love that. I mean, Kanye's.
Be
I got
crazy.
across. Yeah. Um, he kicks off the tour in Chicago. So I mean, who knows? Maybe Kanye's gonna have a homecoming. So
Yeah, it's so crazy how off the grid, no pun intended, Kanye has been. Um, I feel like we haven't seen too much of him the past couple months. Obviously, a lot going on, but I feel like in years past, even when there's all these controversies and stuff, you still see paparazzi pictures of Kanye, whatever. I feel like either they're just not happening as much, or I'm just not seeing as much. But kind of been low key, so we'll see what happens. And then there are all these like rumors of him. He's working on an album, whatever,
uh,
and hopefully we get that too. They've been saying, oh, he's working with Freddie Gibbs, he's working with whoever. I need a Freddie Gibbs and Kanye official song. We got cocaine parties in LA like loosely, but that doesn't even really count. It's not like a real release. So I need a collab with those two because that's just, two Midwest goats right there.
yeah, I mean, Gary, Indiana, and Chicago. There's some ties there, obviously.
Oh
So
yeah.
we need that.
Let's move on here to some of the next news. Tory Lanez sentenced to 10 years for the Meg the Stallion shooting. This is crazy.
Yeah,
I never
good.
listened to Tory like that, but like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, justice has been served there. So, I mean, not too much to really get into.
Yeah,
But
I feel like I've seen like an odd number of people like supporting Tory Lanez like
yeah.
throughout this, and I'm just like, what? Like, why? How? Yeah.
Vince Staples is, they were supposed to drive. Literally, I have like no concept of days anymore. It said August 8th that it was coming out. I don't think August 8th was a Friday. So there's that. Yeah, it was a
Yeah. August
Tuesday.
8th was Tuesday.
I think I may have just looked at the date. I'm not sure. This is so fucking stressful because me and Jonathan we actually send stuff to each other, and I feel like that's really picked up a lot recently. There's just been a lot of just random shit to send to each other,
Hmm.
and then yeah, I was scrolling through all that, and who knows? But Vince Staples and the Alchemist, Lonnie P dropping soon. I hope so.
Sometime. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I'd say
But
within time. Yeah.
yeah. So here I'm looking it up now. It says August 9th on the
Okay.
tweet, but that didn't happen. Or it was just a vinyl. I don't know. I really don't know what happened there. Um, Stay tuned. I guess we'll be back with updates on that. I think the last thing we got to talk about, my heart was just getting played with the past couple of days with the news of the death of Lil Tay, and then the news that oh wait, she's alive. How wild was that they were like, yeah, Lil Tay's dead, and then
That
it
was
wasn't true.
nuts. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I don't want to really even report on this too much. Like, it's crazy. I don't
It
know if
was
it's
just
for,
so random.
yeah, like I had not heard of Volte in a minute. And this is the news we get back. So, very random, but it seems to be she's all right. So,
Yeah, good for Lil Tay. The youngest flexer still in the game. That's good. That's what we need. The people need Lil Tay
yeah.
right now. Uh, yeah, I think that's all we got to say.
Yeah.
We're glad
Um,
you're good, Lil Tay, if you're listening. um, But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our thoughts on Utopia. Let us know how you guys are feeling, and we'll include some of you guys in the next week episode. I think we should actually talk about the album of the month club. We kind of talked about that a little while back. We'll start that in August. I don't think that's the best idea because
we
the
had
whole
dates wrong.
vacation situation, we had a lot of dates wrong. So we're going to start next month, and we'll announce it here. The first album is going to be Nothing Was the Same by Drake, a classic to both of us. We love this album. And, if you're a younger fan, you might not have, given Nothing Was the Same too much love. So, definitely want to get some people's thoughts on that. But stay tuned. We'll do like an Instagram thing. I want to start like an Instagram channel or like DM group where we can, talk about all this kind of stuff. But yeah, there'll be more to come on that. But Nothing Was the Same. It's celebrating its 10th anniversary, so it feels very fitting to do that album because it's an album that we both, hold so dear to our hearts. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. So we'll be back next week with my top 10 concerts I've ever been to, and then the following week with Elijah's. So 2 bangers coming up, so you don't want to miss those. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Obviously, these are gonna be 2 huge episodes, so stay tuned in.